Spinoffs! Is there any word more thrilling to the human soul? Hello, party people. It is Steve. And I'm sitting here with Vin? That can't be right.
Oh my god, it's your Poképal, Vin.
I guess that is why we're here, right? Because Vin is my Poképal.
Yeah, man.
I mean, Vin is a friend of the show. He drew up some fake Pokemans for Bossman Andre for his birthday, and after a while I gotta give credit to you. You're the one that said, let's do a show about spin-offs. And then we pitched it to the boss. Andre said, do I have to do anything? He's like, I don't know, maybe edit later. He says, okay, knock yourselves out. And now here we are.
We are definitely going to knock ourselves out. We have a lot of material. We're not necessarily going to cover literally every single side game. I think there's like over 50 of them or something. We're not going to quite go that hard.
I'd almost say there's over 100, but why would there be so many? I mean, you
why
think
are there so many? That's the great question.
Pokemon's been around since 1996, and, unlike other monster collecting fads, some of which are still kind of around, Pokemon's an evergreen thing, so of course other people might want some of those nice Pokebucks or
Pokédollars. I have a very brief segue with Pokédollars. Once upon a time, Dre actually asked me what the currency in the Pokemon world was, and I said, Pokédollars in like the most matter-of-fact voice possible, and he thought I was blowing him off.
I mean, it's a P with 2 lines through it, and then whatever number it is. You tell me what that's supposed to be.
Pokebucks.
Yeah, Pokebucks. Or Pokédollars, if we're going to be more formal about it.
Either way. Yeah, but I mean, there's some pretty dope spin-offs in here, man, and gotta rake in those Pokebucks somehow, right?
I mean, they're still raking in Pokebucks. There's new Pokemon games coming out in the fall. Violet and Scarlet. They're coming out in November, and that's hot off the heels off of the other sort of spin-off game, Pokemon Legends Arceus. So I'm just going to ask, how long have you been at this?
I've been playing Pokemon since Blue. However, after I caught everything in Blue, I actually took a break for a few years. So, I didn't actually play Gold and Silver and Ruby Sapphire right when they came out. But right in 2008, I'm like, I get the bright idea, right? So I'm like, I wonder if I can catch all of the non-event Pokemon in Pearl. Basically, that means, the past 14 years have never quite been the same. So, I mean, like, technically since the beginning, but with, like, a giant break in the middle, I guess.
See, I wouldn't know what that's like. I took no breaks. I mean, I was always more of a quieter kid, but I played Pokemon Blue and mostly, and it's some Yellow too when it was especially popular, some of the spin-offs, but, things got a little quieter, but I still played Gold and Ruby in their as single-player experiences by themselves. But then, Pokemon Diamond came out, and then Wi-Fi with online trading, which was a thing I did. Remember the friggin' GTS?
The Global Trade Station. Yeah, I got super into that, too. That was handy.
Between that and trying to do battles with friends, that was when I was really feet back in Pokemon land.
Yeah, dude, it was cool, man. It was at the time. It's like very underestimated nowadays, right? That DS connectivity, it was super cool. Like we didn't get all the cool stuff like I think the Japanese version of Crystal has cellular connections or something like that. It's like we didn't get any of that stuff. So
I think it cost something like $1 to do per trade or per communication or something, that whatever it wanted to do.
Can you imagine? Oh my god!
You had to hook it up to your cell phone, and in order to do whatever you wanted it to do, you had to pay per whatever, which wasn't totally unusual. We had the mini phone stores before the advent of smartphones where you paid for games or whatever. But can you imagine just racking up your phone bill, trying to, trade your Alakazams back and forth to make them all evolve?
Back and forth? I didn't even think it's not even a matter of giving them your Alakazam. It's like, nope, I don't have another $1, dog.
I just
can I have it back?
And I think that was even the only way to actually legitimately get Celebi at the time there.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
they tied it to that.
Oh my god. Now kids could do their 3DS virtual console and get a freebie or whatever it is.
Just stuff them all on the cloud in Pokemon box for $15 a year. Oh no, the shame of it all.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's like newer methods. What am I saying? Yeah,
Kids these days have it too good.
exactly. I agree.
You want to have a look at some spin-offy games?
I would love to talk about some spin-offs. We like to spin to win.
Why don't we really start to spin to win with one everybody knows, Pokemon Snap?
Yeah, everyone loves Snap. It just came out on Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online.
And it's their game where you capture Pokemon on film.
You had me there.
They've been cracking. They did that joke on the anime because I think Todd was in like 3 episodes to promote the game at the time.
I forgot about that.
Or at least, and then they stuck him in like one more in the Johto season, which was weird.
He's like, "What are you doing here, yo, dog? This ain't your territory." And yeah, that's funny. And speaking of anime like tie-ins, during my recent N64 run on Nintendo Switch Online, I actually forgot that there's like voice clips and stuff like that. I even forgot like Professor Oak is just like chilling here.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's so funny.
You're close. Oh my god. Yeah, unfortunate. It was a lot of fun for the time, but it had some issues, right? It was obvious the computer was obviously grading you, so it wasn't exactly as objective as you would think it would be. Like, sure, you think this picture of Meowth is better, but the computer thinks this other one is better because he's scared, even though it's right up to your face and whatever.
It's super finicky for some reason, right? It like, so like, oh, this is a great pose, and I'm like, what? I don't really think that's true, but okay. If it's centered, it'll be like, yo, dog. It's like, you're doing great. And I'm like, I guess.
Pokemon don't like being filmed from behind. Really? You asked them that? I'm pretty sure we're out here filming them against their will anyway. What do they care?
Right? It's like, how do you know what they like? You don't know that. It's like, come on, man.
I mean, at the time, we had the Blockbuster kiosks that we could print stickers out of, and I guess that just evolved into sharing them online, right?
Yeah, I missed the Blockbuster kiosks. Everyone was talking about them, though, but it seemed like a pretty cool gimmick.
Oh, I don't... Do you think that the last Blockbuster still has a Pokemon kiosk in there?
That would be amazing if the last one did. I know there's like one more left. Yeah, I was like, that would be incredible.
Oh, that's something to look into in our free time. But the sad part about Pokemon Snap, the original one, is as fun an idea as going on a wild safari is, photo safari is, it's kind of done in 3 hours, right? Yeah. You go for a few laps, they give you a few tools, but by the time you're pretty much done once you find Mew in space, right?
Exactly, yeah. Then there's actually not that many Pokemon in this game. So, like, at the time, it was like 151, of course, but like less than half of them are in this game. I think it's like 66 or something. It's like kind of interesting. I mean, you had to do what you had to do at the time, obviously, right? But it's like there's like not that many Pokemon here. That's kind of interesting.
So, of course, everyone wanted more Pokemon Snap over time, and we all kind of gave up when Sun and Moon happened. We're like, look, you could take pictures of these specific locations. Look, there's a Pidgey over there in the corner. You'll take it over there, you'll get your fake Instagram comments, and you'll like it.
That's right, I forgot about the fake Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, I guess this is okay, I guess. And then 2 years ago now, they did the Pokemon covers. Like, guess what, guys? New Pokemon Snap, finally.
Yeah. It was hyped.
It finally came out last year, and we all lost our shit, and we were right to do so, because new Pokemon Snap is awesome, isn't it?
It's really good. Actually, it's one of my favorite games from last year. Like, it doesn't get talked about too much nowadays, but like, it's cool, dude. There's a lot to do.
I had a level with you. I still haven't finished the main campaign yet. I just keep getting overwhelmed with how there's different variations of the same levels. You play at day, you play at night. There's different cycles to the same one. Underwater variations of the same level.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's different things you do to just make them react more like animals as opposed to animatronics, like in the original game, where they just
Oh
pop
man, I
where
like
they
that.
just pop out of the grass like Scyther, and then it goes away.
It's like, well, where do you come from? Yeah, I remember like in the original, like Porygon just pops out of the wall. I'm like, what are you doing inside the wall? Like, what are you doing here, dog? But no, yeah. What I really like about like the spin-offs in general is that like they really help flesh out these universes and make like Pokemon feel alive, right? So like each of the areas in New Snap, they're really cool. They're full of like stuff to do. They're full of like interactions, and it's just like the replay value of that game is like really like off the charts, right? And I didn't even touch like a lot of these achievements or like whatever. There's like every single place has got like freaking like a dozen achievements or whatever. It's like I haven't even touched that stuff, but.
And I did a whole bunch of them by accident. I appreciate how much thought and detail they put into that. And I found it even more interesting where they said, why don't you take pictures around the ranch? I'm like, yeah. You want me to take pictures around the lab? Okay, I guess this will just be a joke where I drive around a circle. But no, they made
it's so crazy. Yeah.
They made a level of the branching path out of just driving around the lab too. Like, holy shit.
It's like 2 courses too. I think like one of the achievements has like you toss a ball up on the balcony and like Meowth just like pops out. I'm like, yo, dog, like I didn't even expect that. It's like crazy. The areas feel lived in, right? So like the interactions are really cool to see.
Personally, I just thought it was weird that we never got. I thought this was going to be right for the DLC package. Like I figured we would have been getting the $25 level packs for sure.
Yeah, you know, they actually did do that deal. They did a little expansion, but it was like free or whatever, right? But it was like a mini expansion. Did you like mess with that, or like? Because I had a decentish time with it.
I did some of that, but when I looked at it, they'd only sold like a few. I say only, like it's so bad. I think it was only like 4.3 million copies, which isn't awful, but I guess wasn't the number they were expecting after we were all bitching about it for 20 years. And
yeah,
and is Pokemon.
Sometimes social media can be a little deceptive sometimes, right? But 4 million is not bad. I did think it was
I
like
was 15 of those guys asking for Pokemon Snap too.
Using your ults to be like, yo, dog, when's new Snap coming out?
I agree. When's new Snap coming?
It's like, here's your new Snap, literally new Pokemon Snap. Yeah, I thought that name was kind of funny at the time, like new Pokemon Snap. I'm like, okay, I guess.
I thought so too, but what else were they going to call it? Pokemon Snap 2? Like most of the youngins don't know what Pokemon Snap 1 is.
Yeah, there's goofy subtitles they did for other spin-offs, so I think it's good they didn't do a goofy spin-off title here, but that'll come later. But yeah, I mean, like this is from like the company that names stuff like the new like 3DS or whatever, so I guess it gets about right?
The new 3DS, the new 3DS XL.
The new 2DS XL. It's like, okay, thanks, Nintendo. I guess.
I'm a big old Nintendo head, but even I'm like, come on, guys.
It was a confusing like era, man. It was super confusing.
One of the biggest marketing teams there has to be out there, and this is what you guys come up with.
Yeah, it's new, but yeah, you have like 6 different SKUs for like the same handheld generation. Like, come on, man. But I guess we digress. But it's like really funny.
All right, so what's another game we're like?
We got games. One of our favorites is Pokémon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time / Darkness / Sky.
Yeah, this was it was the second set of the Mystery Dungeon games after Red Mystery Team and Blue Mystery Team. Was that what they were the original ones? Because I'd never played that fully until the Switch re-release that made it one game.
Oh, that's how you experienced it. Yeah, it was like blue on DS and red on GBA.
Blue was on DS and red was on GBA. I remember that much.
Yeah, I did the main campaign for the original blue. And it was like, aight. It's like, okay.
I like the remake campaign too, but I felt like playing. I personally played Darkness all that time. 2008. Oh my!
Yep.
How that was a long time ago now.
I did that too. Summer 2008.
It is a weird ass story. Like they start off with very similar beats of you're a human that turns into a Pokemon who wakes up in another Aesop world surrounded by Pokemon that go on adventures and wear cute scarves. Okay.
Yeah, the scarves. That's right. Yeah.
But there's a time travel element and some there's a time police that comes into all of this, and it's
yeah, it's so crazy. Oh my god, and it's full of darkness too. It's like it's probably one of the weirdest universes in like Pokemon history, like straight up. Like this gets really weird.
I mean, I can't be I didn't imagine the part where my partner Pokemon was having the existential crisis, right? There was a part where he was standing on the cliff and he was wondering what he was doing here and if he was really being a help to me, or am I just imagining this?
Yeah, no, there was some stuff like that. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I played them, but
in the game rated E for everyone.
Dude, yeah, it's weird, man. It's like I wasn't expecting to be doing like time travel shenanigans in like it's like a post-apocalyptic like future or something like that, man. Like, what is this? It's like one of the few games where like the future's like all messed up, and I'm like, what's going on here, man? It's like, oh
I seem to remember them torturing the anti-hero type. I think it might have been Grovyle too. After a while,
yeah, they did. Yeah. That's right.
Like you don't see it on screen, but they like do it through text. Like, tell us where you found the time gears. Never.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, like it's crazy.
Why are we playing a Pokemon game?
Yeah, and like I think it's I think it might be like Dust Noir or something. They're like chasing you, man. They're on your tail, man. And it's like, oh my god, like get off my back. And they're like saying, oh, you're actually like a human or something or other. I'm going to like bring you to the future with me. And it's like, what? It's like crazy. It's nuts. And a certain legendary is crazy too.
They had Primal Dark Dialga or whatever was going on there.
Complete with like a palette change. It was like a purple tint or something like that. I'm like, oh my god, what is going on with this game, dude?
I just
yeah.
I spent a lot of time playing it because at the time, going back to our Wi-Fi chat from earlier, there's the whole, when you die in a dungeon or someone else dies in a dungeon, you can request help and you put the signal out and someone can come after you in exchange for rewards and goodies. And there was just a satisfying loop of going in and trying to save other people while I was waiting for my own ass to get out of there.
Yeah, there was, yeah, and like that's like a Mystery Dungeon staple, like sending like SOS mails or whatever to call, and yeah, and it was fun. Like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is notably easier than a lot of other roguelikes, but really it's like the universe and like the interactions that really carry these games, right? That's like the cool stuff, because like these Pokemon have like personalities and stuff. They're not just like randos out in the wild, right?
Well, there was there was Guildmaster Wigglytuff, and he was very, very sadistic.
Yeah. It's like I never would have thought about Wigglytuffs like this, man. It really injects life in these characters. It's like if it weren't for this game, I wouldn't even think twice about Grovyle, right? But now that we like see like some of these characters, we build these associations. It's like it's interesting, right? I mean, that's what makes me remember like Darkness, but there also is a 1.5 version of this, which is Explorers of Sky. I think you said you skipped on this one, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you know how it is when you're younger and college adjacent. You only have so much money for video games, so you only buy some of the video games you want, and not all of them. It's kind of like now, where it's kind of like right now, where I'm not buying everything I want right now, and I'm certainly not buying the third version of something I already have. I will take everyone's word for it that going up to the sky and doing a few more adventures is the right thing to do. So what did I miss in the sky, Finn?
You mean you didn't rebuy the same game a year and a half later in November 2009? Oh my god. So as folks might know, I'm a raging Shaman fanboy. So like this is kind of the game for me, right? Because spoiler warning, Shaman can like turn to like sky form, right? So it's like, well, Shaman's around the box, so it's not much of a spoiler. But yeah, so like when you beat the game, there's like extra story that's added onto it, right? So like you actually go into like Shaman Village, like literally Shaman Village, and you're like ascending a mountain to do some doodads. I don't really remember what the doodads are now, but
hold on
it was cool.
Now hold on a second. Is it Shaman Village as in there's only one Shaman living in this village, or is it Shaman
There's a bunch
Village?
of them.
There's a bunch of Shaman. Okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. It's like my shelf back home. Wait, who said that? No one said that. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, honestly, there was other doodads with like side stories and stuff too. So I think there's like 5 extra like sub stories you can unlock, and one of them actually takes place in the future. It's like the aforementioned Dustar and Grovile are like, "Yo, dog, we're like stranded here. Like, what are we going to do?" So it's like they have to like grapple with this with like what's going on. Like they actually don't like each other, but they like cooperate and like do stuff. And then there's other like side stories that have like it's a little more laid back. It's not quite as consequential as that. Honestly, like trying to sell this game to people is probably really hard unless you're a raging shaman fanboy like I. It's very much a 1.5 game.
I mean, if they make a super duper Pokemon Explorers of the Dark Sky or whatever on Switch, I'd pick it up.
That's what they're gonna do, right? They're gonna take the Sky stuff and they're gonna like put it into like the other games, right? Which is that would be cool. I'd be totally down for that. Because again, this is one of my favorite universes. I would totally be down for that. I mean, it seems like the next logical step, but we don't really know what's on the Pokemon Company's mind now, do we?
No, who the heck knows? Because a decade ago, I know it's like slipped out of most people's minds now, but Pokemon Conquest, you might remember a little bit before when this game came out, Koei Tecmo was all, we're making a Pokemon game. It's going to cross over with Nobunaga's ambition. Yes, that Nobunaga's ambition where you're Japanese warlords fighting over feudal Japan.
It's one of the
in turn-based combat.
It's one of the weirdest ideas.
Yeah, it's going to cross over with Pokemon. Now, you might know on the main show Shenanigans where I'm the strategy guy, and the other guys are like, I don't know how this works, but I'm happy that you're happy, Steve.
You're turning Dre into a strategy guy, one game at a time.
Well, we'll see how that goes. But
it'll go great. Trust me. Air quotes.
We'll see. But Pokemon Conquest, they really fucking did it. All the prefectures are represented by Pokemon types. And in addition to Pokemon battles, they have the Nobunaga Ambition staples that, or at least the ones that you can stick in a rated E for everyone game. Oh no, there's an uprising that they're trying to take over this territory. Oh no, the crops aren't growing. Please help us. And it's definitely not as complicated as the actual Nobunaga's Ambition games.
Yeah, those are kind of complicated, yeah.
But it is very much a baby's first Nobunaga's Ambition game, and it's very good at it, good for that. And at the time, there was even a whole bunch of extra campaigns after you finished the main one. Oh, that's
right, yeah.
That you had to hook up to Nintendo Wi-Fi connection to get. And by hook up to Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, I mean hook it up online and tell it to unlock all the things
that's
already.
Right. That's what
remember
it was.
when they did that fake DLC shit on DS?
That's right. It's not actually downloading stuff, but you can't do it anymore. The servers are toast. What are you gonna do?
That's what Action Replay is for. You can use one to unlock those. The puzzles of the week from Professor Layton, you can do it for that too.
That's right, I forgot that game had that. Yeah, that's right.
It's crazy what the Action Replay on DS is going to unlock for you. All the online exclusive content for that.
Yeah, the online air quotes. Yeah, but this game is cool. This game looked cool because I never actually played it. But it's cool. But the costume design was actually one of the most striking things about it.
They gave Oda Nobunaga this black dress coat and a shiny black Rayquaza.
Yeah, that's how you know he's balling.
How do you resist any of that?
Yeah, that's how you know he's balling. You got a shiny as your actual representative Pokemon? That's crazy talk, dog. Yeah, and remember there's some cool pairs and stuff too. I think Snivy was in there because this is at the height of Black and White, sort of a hype.
Yeah, this was mid-Gen 5.
Yeah, mid-Gen 5, yeah.
A few months before Black and White 2, so it was definitely not all the Pokemon, but it was a good chunk of whatever you can run across grids or fly across grids. Mm-hmm. Because I like grids, but I poor other people like Steven is grids. What the heck are you doing over there?
You'll sell grids to the rest of the crew in due time. But do you remember if Pokemon were locked to stufic characters, or could you switch them around? Do you remember that? Or
it's been a while, but you could. I think. Well, there were excuse me. The warlords all had specific Pokemon that were specifically for them, but there were also ones you can recruit in open fields and whatever, and so you can have a team of 3, and you got point bonuses based, like same type attack really for keeping things consistent.
Yeah,
If you
okay, right on.
if you were the poison warlord and you found more poison Pokemon, you got a bonus for it as opposed to mixing it up.
That's almost like gym leaders. Oh my god. Oh baby.
Pretty much.
Except it's in the world of Nobunaga's ambition.
It's kind of weird because it's sort of modern-ish, but not really. They don't have all the Pokemon centers or whatever, but potions and things look just like how they do in the regular games.
It's not like Arceus where they have like, I don't even remember, it's like random like sort of past looking equivalents of everything. It's like, it's not just Pokeballs, they're like past Pokeballs. No, they're not called that, but like other items are kind of weird too.
I think if they ever made another one, and I really hope they do, they'd probably base it off of the Arceus timeline and not whatever they did here, whatever they had at the time.
That would be cool. I'd love to see that. Yeah.
But what else do you like, man?
I have a handful. So I really like Trozei. Trozei's art style is super distinct, right? It has this sort of like spy motif.
It does. I remember all that. I did have it, and it was very... I don't know, it reminded me of almost like a Super Nintendo puzzle game where you had where you just had interstitial animations that didn't really mean anything, just in between puzzle levels.
Yeah, it had cutscenes. That was pretty slow. You like trying to like sneak into like this sort of corporation that was doing misdeeds or whatever it was. But yeah, I don't remember the details now. But
and the only way to save them was to match 3 or more.
That's how you do it, right? I mean, that's how you do it. Yeah, and yeah, it was cool. Like the art style was super bold. I think they had like dark cartoony outlines on everything like that. And I guess like nowadays, like maybe some people would think it's like maybe kind of Flash animation-y, but to me, I thought it was like really distinct from like everything else, right? It seems very sort of exaggerated, and like there were actual people that were like in the game too. It wasn't just literally the Pokemon. You weren't just literally just matching stuff like all the time, right?
One other one I was fond of, might it be the first Pokemon spinoff we got, Pokemon Pinball. And it's really weird. There's actually a small pedigree to this one because HAL Labs made this one, and they were making pinball pretty much the whole Game Boy's lifespan. They had Revenge of the Gator and then Kirby's Pinball Land, which, let's face it, none of these feel like real pinball, but they're fun pinball video games. They have animated tables, and they make fun noises, and they even have different levels to the tables, and it's just it's a lot of goofy fun. But then they were tasked with making Pokemon Pinball, and they even made a Rumble cartridge for some reason, which required a separate AAA battery of its own.
Oh, I forgot it had a battery in it too. Yeah,
where they gave you a red and blue table to play on. And it has all those similar elements from the older games HAL made, but also you had to catch Pokemon. You had to flip and trigger different bumpers and things to create situations where Pokemon would appear.
Yeah.
Catch them in the Pokeballs, do it all again to make them evolve, and you were even filling out a Pokedex along the way to get 150 Pokemon.
Yeah, by hitting the Pokeball with flippers as you fuel the rumble. Kind of makes sense. Maybe.
It was a lot of fun, and then they did it again on Game Boy Advance for Ruby and Sapphire, and then they never did it again because I guess a lot of things happened at HAL after that.
Yeah.
That's for a very, very different podcast, I
forgot HAL was actually involved in these games, honestly. That actually makes perfect sense. They did a lot of pinball, huh? Back in the day before they pretty much became like the Kirby studio or whatever, right? But with some Smash stuff here and there. But
They're not credited for it, but they actually made NES pinball too.
Did they? Oh my god, I didn't know that.
It was, I think it was Iwata and like a handful of other people that made that game, and gotta crawl before you can walk, I guess, because that is not as good as Revenge of the Gator and and Pokemon Pinball and everything else I brought up.
Yeah, so it's funny though. I actually grew up on NES Pinball, which is now on Nintendo's entertainment system, Nintendo Switch Online. I was ready for that one. I actually did think that was like okay for what it was. Like it was all right, but yeah,
it was okay for what it was. But there's a world of difference between.
Yeah, you have to iterate, right? That's the whole like game dev life. You have to like keep like iterating, and then you get better and better at your craft, right?
The kids don't want to iterate anymore. They just want it to be good right away.
That's exactly how it works. Yeah, you're just like you're born perfect. That's how these things work.
Like the kids don't appreciate that we had to start with Pokemon Stadium, which was a game where we just flung Pokemon from our Game Boy cartridges onto our N64s and very slow-moving battles, and then we had to build our way to something like Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD.
Yeah,
right?
speaking of Coliseum and XD, yeah, those titles are they're interesting. I played them during sort of my Pokemon sort of craze in 2008 when I was playing like Pearl and like Emerald and Leaf Green in quick succession, and I'm like, yo, I need some legendary dogs from Gold and Silver. Let's play Coliseum, and like it's actually like a JRPG. It's got a JRPG component to it. It takes place in this sort of like desert-y sort of area. I think the
The Ore region. Or region, but like, I don't think it's pronounced that.
See, it's got like 2 R's, of like, it's throwing me off. I don't know how to pronounce that.
I thought it was ore because there was places like Pyrite Town and, all these rock places you were going to.
Yeah, that's how you gotta mine ore, right? From the ore region. But yeah, it's it was cool. It was interesting. Like the Coliseum protagonist is like crazy edgelord for like no good reason.
Oh, there's a very good reason. It is 2003,
no, that's right.
and we're making, and we need to age up Pokemon just a smidge for the home console release. So here's your black trench coat and ashen gray hair and your weird cyber visor to figure out where all the shadow Pokemon
That's right.
are.
Yeah, he puts on the visor because you have to like yeah. Like I think it was like I forget the technical term. I thought like snagging the shadow Pokemon.
You had to snag them.
It's like you couldn't catch them. You had to like snag them, and then you go through this laborious process to purify them or like whatever. I'm like, okay, I guess. And then you can send them back to your main game zone. You can send it back to Ruby Sapphire if you wanted to or whatever, right? But
oh, there's a good number of them and an XD sitting in my Pokemon home.
Yeah. Oh, you actually transferred yours. Nice. Yeah, you did that multi-hop that's like what, four-ish jumps or something like that.
Well, I did it as we went along. I didn't do it all at once. Could you imagine?
That would be hysterical. Using your cube to GBA cable, then you gotta like put that GBA cart in a DS, and then you need 2 DSs to get it from Diamond Pearl to Black and White, and then it gets a little easier from there, I guess. But like you have to like do jumps, man. It was like. So why?
Somewhere in storage, I have a memory card where there's a Pokemon Coliseum and XD file with a lot of Zigzagoon and Pidgey that I had to trade to bring all the Pokemon I really wanted to bring over, because you couldn't just send your Pokemon over. It set up an ID for Edgelord guy in Coliseum and fairly normal looking kid in XD.
He was totally fairly normal looking
with their own IDs and things. So it was.
I forgot. Yeah, it was technically a trade. I forgot about that. Oh my god. Yeah.
They're the bravest heroes of all, those guys. Those little pockets of data just sitting in storage.
Yeah,
right now.
I did the same thing. Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I did like XD quite a bit. It's kind of disguised as Coliseum too. It like shares a lot of assets, right? But I mean, like, I think overall, like XD had like more stuff to do. I think there was like what they call like mirage spots. You could catch like other randos, so you weren't just like stuck with like your shadowy things.
Yeah, that was when they let you just go out and do regular wild battles, which Coliseum had none of.
Did not have wild battles. Wild battles in a Pokemon game? Oh my god, you're talking crazy shit. That's crazy shit.
Well, Genius Sonority was a fairly newish, at least new to Pokemon team at the time. So of course they would get it right the third time around. Oh wait, the third time around was Pokemon Battle Coliseum, where they just recessed back to Pokemon Stadium, but on DS, and there was no RPG elements.
I did not have Battle Revolution. I guess it looked okay. I guess ? But
it did what it was supposed to do, and I really dug it because it let you battle online with random people, which Diamond and Pearl did not let you do at the time.
You could not battle with randos on Diamond and Pearl. That's correct. Yeah, I forgot about that. So what a weird era. This is like crazy to like think about nowadays. But yeah, I did really like Coliseum and XD. I don't imagine they're ever coming back. but and they're not perfect like JRPGs. Like the whole final dungeon of XD is like shadow Pokemon for like hours. I don't know if it's like hours, but it's like a pretty weirdly paced game. But you know, that was cool.
There was a weird montage of shadow Pokemon, and then they gave you Shadow Lugia, which had its own color palette, and I think I even have a Shadow Lugia plush from Nintendo World because I'm like, this is going to be some money someday.
That's literally what you thought. It's like, yo, this is going to be some money. People are going to want some Shadow Lugia. And it's like, or see if it paid off for you.
Or, you know, or at least it'd be a conversation piece. If I can find a, when before we put this show up, I'll take a picture.
But Steve, why does your Lugia have a black mask on with red eyes?
Remember the bullshit they made you do to... You had to like set up the giant purification circle in the computer to make Shadow Lugia pure?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about the process.
Oh no, Shadow Lugia is dark purple. He can't be purified. And then you had to do the
oh my god,
super-de-duper purification
that's right,
circle.
Yeah. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Yeah, oh my god. I mean,
still better than Battle Revolution.
Yeah, well, I'll take the attempt at a JRPG, man. Like, you know, I'll take it. It's like JRPG light, kind of, sort of, but like, I'll take it, man. Like, and if you transfer those Pokemon to like the current generation of games, it'll say like they're from a distant land. I think it is.
I think there's a few other instances where it does that too. Like if you have event Pokemon from a older game.
Yeah, it's got weird location data. It's like for these special cases. So it's like, yeah, I don't just have any Lugia. They're a distant land Lugia. It's like, and your friends are like, okay, that's cool. Like,
I've got that. I got that preview disc for Pokemon Coliseum where it just had a video of the game and it was pretty much I guess you just call it a little an application that just loaded Jirachis onto your Game Boy Advance
That's
cards.
right. That's right. I remember that. That was a crazy disc. Yeah.
You bring the Toys R Us experience to your house.
You want to come over to my house and get some Jirachis? Oh, baby.
Well, no, please.
Yeah, that's just fun.
Misunderstanding.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah. But we could continue on with another weird spin-offs. We got a Pokémon Tournament and Pokémon Tournament Deluxe. Oh, baby. These are some of the most bizarre fighting games I've ever played. I don't know about you. I don't know about your history with fighting games, but these are really weird.
I like me some fighting games. I really do, but Tekken is... I just never really got along with it. I liked Pokken, like what it was trying to do at first, and even again on Switch, but it just didn't have... I thought I was going to be addicted to this for years and years, all Smash, but it just really didn't work out for me because there's a lot I like about it.
Yeah, it's really strange. Like, so it's actually it's an interesting spectacle, but as Dre and I often say, it's like we're not 100% sure if it's like a game because it's just kind of really wild and over the top. And like, good luck explaining the mechanics to people, right? It's like, why am I alternating between like side scrolling mode and like free roam mode, right? It's like kind of interesting and kind of bizarre and like specific, right? But I mean, like, what I really like about Pokken in general is just like how they adapt like Pokemon to a fighting game context. I think that's pretty cool. They got the popular guys. You got Machamp, Lucario, Garchomp. Everyone loves like some of these Pokemon. But you get like rando oddballs. Like you would expect Suicune to be like in a fighting game. It's like really weird, right? Decidueye, like what's Decidueye doing here? It's like that's kind of interesting. And like Chandelure, they're like duking it out with like guys with actual fists, right? So it's like weird.
I feel like you needed to have some of the weird ones in there or you were never going to get the Pokemon fans to pay attention.
Yeah, I think that's what you had to do as well. It's just interesting because I love weird rosters in fighting games. This is one of my favorite things about like the genre, right? And like in this game, it gets even weird. There's like assist pairs, right? Because you can like send guys out to like do effects and you can buff yourself or attack the other opponent. And like, I don't know why Pachirisu and Magikarp are like paired together. That's like, what are these? It's like, what?
And didn't Krogunk had the wasn't Krogunk an assist and a playable character in Deluxe?
I believe that is the case. Yeah, I think they're the only one.
Or in the arcade game. I think something happened in between the Wii release and the Switch release.
There's like interesting like specific sort of exclusives to like I think the Switch version because the Switch version got that DLC or whatever, right? You could be like Blastoise.
See, and that's where I get weird because I should have been all about a Blastoise DLC, but by the time they came out with it a few months later, it's 2018, and I have so many other games to play.
Yeah, the Switch was on fire, man. But it was 2018. I forgot it took a bit. Yeah,
I just thought I'd spend a lot more time on the Switch than I did.
Yeah,
oops.
Yeah, so yeah, big oops. Yeah, but you know. it's just such a bizarre experience, ultimately. And I could never like explain it to anybody.
I find it interesting that it's still in competitive Pokemon circles, like around this time of year when they do tournaments for the main game and the card game. Like you'll still see if they still have however many people playing Pokemon.
No, the fan base for it is crazy cool, and like apparently this year is actually the last year they're gonna run it though. I think it's getting yeeted after the end of 2020, but like I'm sorry, 2022. But that's still a pretty long tail though.
6 years is a pretty good lifespan for a non-mainstream fighting game.
Yeah, right?
Without Street Fighter in the name.
Exactly, yeah. That's cool. I think Bandai Namco did pretty good with it. I got the ultimate spin-off. Are you ready for this one? Are you ready? It's a lifestyle.
Let me sit down for this one.
No, you gotta go.
Okay.
You can't stay at home for this one. You gotta get out on your feet. You gotta go, baby. We're gonna talk about Pokemon Go.
We're gonna go?
We're gonna go.
We're gonna go?
Yeah, you're not going to the polls. You're gonna go catch some Pokemon. Or actually, you may be going to the polls. I don't know. Maybe you'll be doing that.
Not today, but remember that nonsense?
That was pretty amusing.
We got a Pokemon Go to the polls.
Dude, that game was like 6 years ago, right? Like the hype for this game was crazy. Like everyone was like talking about it. Like the fervor was like super over the top for it.
Look, you think about what mobile games were like 6 years ago, and then you, out of nowhere, we're gonna go all over the world and we're gonna catch Pokemon. It sounds like a game that shouldn't exist.
Right? Yeah.
And then the game came out, and it really shouldn't have existed because it was down for maintenance all the time.
That's true. So like I actually didn't start it till 2 years after it came out. So from my understanding, like the first 2 years were like just server crashes nonstop or whatever.
It wasn't that bad. It was fine after a few months.
Oh, was it after a few months? Okay.
But there was a very long time where we had to go on to the same server outage sites that like World of Warcraft people use.
Oh god!
And figure out if Pokemon Go was really down or if you were just having a bad connection at the time.
Oh my god! It's like downdetector.com and stuff of that ilk. Yes,
that's the one.
The same thing. That's amazing. Yeah, but this game is cool. It's really easy to pick up and play. Of course, it's still going stronger after 6 years, which is kind of nuts for anything, really. But when you rake as much money, I guess you got to keep that train going, right? But the game is kind of frivolous in a lot of ways. But I do appreciate how you can choose to do like a PvP, you can choose to do like PvE if you want to, or you can just catch stuff. You know, I think that's part of the beauty of it, right?
Well, a lot of that had to come out over time because, again, and the gym system was broken at first, very, very broken. There were a lot of times where you were just waiting to see, okay, this kid's gone. Now we're just going to smoosh him out of the gym, stick my Eradicate there, and we're done.
Yeah, yeah.
My gym now.
Yeah, and like even like to some degree, the game still got some jank to it. Like it'll freeze randomly. You have to like close out the game and reopen it. Sometimes like gym battles will kind of get like they won't necessarily like start like efficiently. It's like kind of weird, but the same goes for raids. It's like sometimes they just kind of like act up a little bit.
It is much, much better than it was.
Yeah, it does work. You know, in most of the cases, it actually like works pretty good. It's just there's still like a little bit of weirdness to it, but like I guess when you have that many people playing it, it's like shenanigans happen. I guess.
And there's thankfully a much better Pokemon pool now. When we first started, there was only the first 150, and excluding legendaries and what have you. And it was like being an NPC in a Pokemon and Red, Blue, and Yellow because all you were finding Eradicate, Rattata, Pidgey, the occasional Drowsy.
Yeah.
If you were really special, you might find a Nidoran.
Oh no! Oh my god! Yeah, that nowadays it's a lot more diverse. But yeah, back then I could only imagine. It's like, oh my god!
You were playing with other people, and like, hey, if you're lucky and you get in right now, there's an Executor here. Like, oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
It was very desperate times, and although it was a little better if. I went on vacation with my family to Disney World that summer, and I filled in a lot of Dex entries there, and that's kind of the thing. Even now, it's the Pokemon catching pool is a lot better. But I found that unless you live in a bigger city type place, if you live in a suburb like me, you're mostly playing by yourself. There's people playing here because someone has to be kicking me out of my gyms.
Someone is, yeah.
But let's do a raid. Mewtwo's here. I guess it's just me.
Yeah.
And maybe I can get these friend invites out that maybe they will or will not respond to because no one else is actually nearby.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that benefits the most if you live in a city. And for context, I'm in San Francisco, so I'm like uber spoiled with this game. Like back home, like in SoCal, I ain't got jack, dog. I don't have stops. I don't have like any firepower for like raids. It like sucks, man. But I still think for what it is, there's a decent amount to just like find like out there if you're just like walking around. But definitely if you're not in like an urban area, it's slow going.
And now you can send Pokemon to home now too, and I find that to be fun. I have way too many Meltans sitting in the back.
Yeah, the Meltans. Yeah, I think it filled in a few national dex holes by transferring some stuff over from Go, which is pretty cheesy. Don't tell the internet my secret. Oh wait, too late. But
look, there's a lot of people that say, look, I got this shiny, and you look at the original ID and it's shiny hex. The OT is shinyhex or .com or whatever that guy is that does that. So whatever.
Yeah, there's wild stuff out there.
I imagine having that kind of time.
If I get a shiny in Go, like, I mean, for the most part, I'll keep it in Go, but like, you can send it to the mainline games if you want to do that too.
Yeah, I feel like that's mostly what I've been doing too.
It's totally an option. It's a pretty cool experience. I'm sure like for kids nowadays, it might be like kids' first like Pokemon game, which is a little wild to think about, like equating it that way. I mean, like we have the context of playing like the Game Boy stuff, right?
Yes, I am an adult. I will get my cell phone and open my app store, and I will download the Pokemon Go game onto my cell phone. But I guess kids are just playing it on their parents' tablets.
Oh yeah, you see that too. You'll definitely see that. Oh my god,
we have a bunch of that in Manhattan, or at least there was the last time I was there. It's been a while.
Yeah. I've seen it out and about too. Don't let your kids spend money on microtransactions. Oh baby, don't get those Pokecoins. They're literally called Pokecoins.
Honestly, I really felt like you didn't need to. I feel like the Pokestops are fairly generous if you just use them and you don't miss all the time.
Yeah, you do get some goodies by spinning to win. I think, now's a good time to take a break or continue some games that are a little more iffy in spin-off history.
Yeah, you might actually want to sit down for some of these.
Oh, baby.
Find a chair until we get back.
You don't have to go for this one.
People at home, I hope you're sitting, because the good times are over. It's time to talk about some real shit.
Yeah, there are some spin-offs that are not quite as good as the games we just talked about.
I'd like to see, as I get older, I try to be less miserable about things, and I try to see good in more things, but sometimes it's hard. Like, when Nintendo shows up in 2003 and says, there's a game called Pokémon Channel coming out for Nintendo GameCube. And we're all just sitting here going, what the fuck is a Pokémon Channel?
That's the question, isn't it? What the fuck is a Pokémon Channel? Do tell, because I never found out.
So you remember Hey You Pikachu on N64 where they gave you the microphone and you had to talk to Pikachu try and tell him to do shit? It didn't work very well, or my voice was too deep for it, even in 8th grade. So, but an attempt was made. And you know what? Because I want to delay it another second, and I'll bring up that saying Sony to Pikachu and Hey You Pikachu did not make him angry. It was just a word he didn't understand, so that's what made him angry.
I forgot people said that.
Now you know. And now you'll know what... So, Pokemon Channel is a spiritual sequel to Hey You Pikachu, where instead of going outside and, going on frivolous little adventures with Pikachu with your voice, you live in an apartment in a city somewhere, and Pikachu knocks on your door, and he just crashes on your couch and watches
Is
TV.
it down the street from us?
So we have to watch Pikachu watch TV. And what's on TV, you might be asking? Well, there's a slowpoke telling the weather and some other weird game show type thing that you really can't participate in one way or another. A news channel where nothing really happens one way. It's just all these weird fluff pieces, but more game industry. Like, you remember the GameCube tech demo, Meowth's Party, where there's a, I guess you'd call it a garage band, and Meowth's on a guitar, and they're showing off how many Pokemon they can cram onto a screen at once with the GameCube.
This is vaguely familiar. It escapes me.
They made a Pichu Brothers cartoon. You might remember that from the third movie or whatever. They had what could closely be construed as content of these channels you're flipping through is a 4-part Pichu Brothers cartoon that culminates into Meowth's Party, where it slips from the Pokemon anime to the tech demo.
They really put a tech demo into a Pokemon channel?
I guess it's interesting to have that on there, and I think in the end they also realized all of this was bullshit, because they also stuck a full-fledged Pokemon mini emulator on this. You remember that? The small, very, very small Game & Watch size Pokemon handheld?
Yeah, it had an LCD screen, right?
With the really small game cards?
Yeah, I remember that. I never had it, but I remember that, yeah.
I think I have the blue one with just one game on in there just for I got a dirt cheap, but when they were giving them away,
you can play those on Channel.
They in addition to, you can get most of the I think they were making games up till 2003. I say making games like they were putting out a handful a year in Japan after our first year at a time, like all the ones that existed up to that point, and another one exclusively on this game called Snorlax's Lunchtime, where you just had to keep mashing the button, but don't eat the Pichu or the game is over.
That's an image.
well, you don't actually eat the Pichu if you hit the button when he's on the screen. He just looks up at Snorlax in disapproval and the game ends. I mean, it's cute.
What are you making me eat, dog?
There's that, and I think the European version also included the turn your house into a GBA app so you can transfer Jirachis to your Game Boy Advance, because they knew they had shit with this, but we sunk too much money into this to not put anything out with it. I don't know why they did why this stuff didn't just stay under the hood.
That's I remember their Jirachi process was a little different. I guess you couldn't relive the Toys R Us experience at home. I guess you had to do Channel.
All these things were also issuing a patch to Ruby and Sapphire because berries stopped growing after a year in game.
That's right, yeah.
And we couldn't hook our GBAs up to cell phones and pay $1 a minute a transfer to get a free patch. So Pokemon Channel. Somehow I don't think it's appearing on GameCube, Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, you know what? I was trying to listen as much as possible. I still don't think I really understand it, but you know what? I don't think anyone else does either, so it's fine.
I don't think Nintendo really did when they put it out, because it was 2003, and you might remember that was the year where, oh shit, we already put Wind Waker out at the beginning of the year. What are we going to do at the end of the year? 3 racing games, back to back to back. Everyone will love that.
Yeah.
Also Wario World.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, none of those games were bad, but I would not have put Kirby Air Ride, Mario Kart Double Dash, and F-Zero that close in release to each other. And also 1080.
Yeah, 1080, that's right. Yeah. I was one of those schmuckos that played the Nintendo Racing Time for a while. Or you can play Pokemon Channel. There's that too. Play air quotes. So you layer the air quotes around it.
They knew what they didn't have. Speaking of something they didn't have, Pokemon Dash.
I'm scared.
Okay, full disclosure, I listened to your show the other week about Pac-Man games, the new Pac-Man collection.
Yeah.
And,
Pac-Man
and,
Museum
and,
Plus, yeah.
and I listened to you talk shit about Pac Picks. I like
Wait,
me
did
some.
I talk shit about Pac Picks? I thought
Someone,
I just said it.
I think Andre might have, but or
I
was
thought
it
we
just
liked
Pack and
Pac
Roll?
Picks.
I like Pac Picks, and that's the thing. Some of the tech demo games were actually kind of fun. Like maybe things like Pac Picks and Yoshi's Touch and Go. I might have like held on the back burner for when DSi came out and just made download games, but
Yeah.
they weren't bad. They really weren't. They might have been overpriced even back then, but none of those were bad games.
They were fine for what they were. Yes, exactly.
Pokemon Dash was also a tech demo, and this was not a good game.
That was not fine for what it was.
you have to do foot races with Pokemon. Okay, that's fine. It'd be weird if they were driving on scooters or whatever. But you can only play as Pikachu.
That's biased.
And you have to scrape the screen in order for him to move anywhere.
So, like, you just have to, like, move your stylus over and over again?
You have to, like, flick the stylus and then do weird diagonal shit to make him turn. And you might be saying, Steve, that doesn't sound like it works. No, it doesn't. There's a reason why you haven't heard about this before.
It doesn't control well either? Are you serious? That's the one thing that you can do. That's literally the point of the game, right?
But you know who does know how to play the game? The fucking AI, because they're all running in perfect circles around you the whole time.
Oh no.
But this was the first introduction to Munchlax in the game, so there's that.
That was such a weird era where they teased Pokemon ahead of release too. Yeah, Bonsly was like that too in XD, I think. Yeah, yep. It was like they just like, okay, let's just randomly put Pokemon ahead of time. Everyone's gonna like that, but
they were doing that for a while anyway. Remember Togepi existing for 2 years before Gold and Silver?
That's right. That's true. Yeah,
the anime and things.
True. Yeah.
Then the movie, like where Donphan just showed up, and you're like, okay, that's fun, I guess. Where's he?
It's like, who's this? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was always the marketing until it wasn't.
Yeah, man. Why does Munchlax have to be in such a crappy game? That sucks.
And that, but there was this fun feature where you might remember the DS and DS Lite. Certain games could read data off GBA cards, and if you had one of the other games in there, the mainline Generation 3 games in there, it would read off Pokemon from your current team and generate a track around them just automatically. I don't think anyone actually play tested this at all because none of these silhouette Poke courses are fun. Yoshi's Island and Double Dash, and then again in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where it's a silhouette of Yoshi, but it's fun. It's just a coincidence that it's shaped like that.
Yeah, that's a cool one. I do like that one, yeah.
But here, okay, here's Blaziken. Good luck getting around the talons and some shit like.
Are you sure you're not just diagonally swiping the screen enough?
It's like none of it. I can't believe that they ever said, you know what, let's put this out.
Yeah, I feel like if this were a concept nowadays, it probably wouldn't make it out of the planning phases, but I guess when you're like, 2004, 5, I guess you gotta like put stuff out, I guess, but...
WarioWare Touched came out a month before, and that was very good.
Yeah, Touched is great, yeah. Oh, I forgot that predated Dash, oh god. Okay, maybe I retract my statement. Maybe they should have canned Dash back then too. Oh god. Oh no. I completely forgot.
But yeah, come on. It can't just be bad for me. You gotta have some shit on your shit list.
I do have some shit on the list. And speaking of early games, I was not buying Nintendo stuff from early 2011 and early 2013, right? I was thinking like, okay, fine, Nintendo's putting some stuff out that I care about. I'm going to do this deal where you can basically buy Pokémon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity and you get like a free copy of whatever game, like, right? So like, I chose Super Mario 3D Land. At least you got a Mario game out of it, I guess, right? Unbeknownst to me, Gates to Infinity is like an incomplete stopgap product. Like, it was really early on in the 3DS lifespan. And man, so like, again, I was coming off a super big hype off of Explorers of Sky. I love Explorers of Sky, right? But man, this game is something else. Cause like at the time, there were 649 available Pokemon as of Black and White, which is sort of what this game is based off of, right? Only 144 of them are playable. That's like crazy. That's less than the number of Pokemon that Black and White introduced, which was 156. It doesn't even have the whole Black and White roster in it. That's like messed up. Like, how do you like what are they doing, right? And like anything that was like fish-like was not playable for some reason. It was like really weird. And then microtransaction dungeons, if you like paid like several bucks, you could get like these dungeons that make it easy to recruit stuff. And that's like scummy, dude. It's like messed up. I don't know if you played this, but just like, God damn.
I played because this was right around the time they started finally doing, what everyone else did with demos off the shop. And that's what I did. I downloaded the demo off the shop.
It was a demo, that's right.
And I loaded it up. And I'm like, similar to you, I liked Explorers of Darkness. I know I skipped Explorers of the Sky, but this is Mystery Dungeon 3, right? We can have fun with this.
Have fun.
And I'm loading it up, and I'm like, this feels neutered somehow.
Oh, it's super neutered. That's the best way of putting it, right? Everything.
Even though I'm playing the demo, and I'm like, I know it's just a demo version, but it's doing it did a lot of what Square Enix does now, where they let you play a little bit and you transfer progress later. So it's like, I'm like, I don't think I will buy the full version of this, actually.
You never transferred your progress!
I just...
Because you never bought it.
I just find it weird that I'm hearing you say there's no fish Pokemon in there. They didn't give a fuck in the older ones, and why would you? Like, just have them float around. Who cares? Just have them float around behind you, and then they can. And then if you really have them with you, they can cross water too. It was a fun gameplay thing to have.
It literally did not matter, right? But now it's like, oh, Stunfisk? Like, no, we can't have that, like crawling around. Nope, it was not in the game or whatever, right? It's like messed up, right? So like, if you love certain like Black and White Pokemon, there's actually decent fan service, right? Like Victini gets like this pretty cute like fan servicey cutscene. However, you can't actually play as Victini, so like, is it actually fan servicey at that point? It's like kind of weird, right? It's like a little deflating. So I don't know. I got a free digital copy of Super Mario 3D Land. That's the biggest takeaway I got out of this. And like, as a bit of an aside, like Super Mystery Dungeon kind of rectified a lot of the issues with this game, because it had like almost all of the X and Y Pokemon in it, right? I think 720 or whatever, right? But I didn't actually finish that game, because it kind of sort of suffered from a similar issue as it did with this, and that the pacing is just whack. And it's not as interesting after Explorers of like Darkness and Time, Darkness, and Sky. That universe is crazy, and like these games are not nearly as wild as that.
I think that's what bugged me about when I was playing the demo. Those games had an identity. You lived in a town with, you lived in a society with other Pokemon, and here it felt like these are dungeons. Go do them.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And some of you can pay money to play those dungeons too. It's like, thanks, I guess.
Oh, that was the Nintendo was really feeling their way around DLC at the time. I'm sure you weren't paying attention to that, but Fire Emblem Awakening was around that same time in Japan.
It was, yeah, that's right.
And they were the worst with the DLC packs.
There's like training maps and stuff, right? They like went super hard on that stuff.
They gave you like a few freebies, but for that game and the 3DS ones, they like charged you almost twice as much that you paid for the game if you wanted all those DLC maps.
Oh god, I forgot it totaled that much. Oh no.
I mean, and then they learned their lesson for Three Houses, because they're like, nope, here's what, like they did for everything else on Switch. In the end, they just did, okay, here's $25 for the entire season of DLC. Go nuts. They learned their lesson from that time, but it was a dark time when they were feeling their way around that.
You did not spend $120 on Three Houses training maps?
I didn't have to. Okay, I love that game so much, I might have, but I didn't have to. I only had to pay $25.
Wow. Dang, they really got consumer friendly. Man, I forgot about Awakening. Oh, that's wild. Speaking of things I wish I could forget about, another on the shit list is Pokemon Shuffle. Oh, baby Jesus. Oh my god. 2015 was a weird year for Pokemon. There were multiple free-to-play 3DS Pokemon games, and this is the first of them. And it started the year off on a questionable foot, because quite frankly, this game was a pain in the ass to play. right? So it looks like Trozei and it looks like Battle Trozei. It doesn't really play too much like either of them, right? Because you get like jack shit for turns to like complete these stages. So like it just keeps on trying to sell you on microtransactions. Yo, like if you pay some money, you can like get another turn. But it's like not empowering, right? It's like it like sucks if you have to like struggle to like barely beat stuff all the time, right? It's sort of like the Candy Crush mindset, right? And like it's like messed up.
I spent some time doing that, and then it came out on cell phones too, because I guess they figured this is just like a phone game. And then someone at Game Freak Pokemon Company was like, "Funny you say that."
It was super delayed too. It took like a while for that to come out. I never played it on phones called Traumatized, but but I stuck with it. I did all 150 base stages. Somehow managed to do it all without spending money. Somehow I lost a bit of sanity in the process. And then they gave us like some more stages afterwards. I think it went up to like 180. And I'm like, yo, I can't do this no more. I'm going to go crazy. And so unbeknownst to me, it went up to 700 stages. And I'm like, oh shit.
Well, yeah, that because they had a whole mobile base they needed to start serving that was throwing a lot more money at it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god. I think I might have lost my sanity if I tried to 100% that game. I might not be here because I might be in like a hospital or something.
It'd be like trying to 100% Candy Crush. Who would do such a thing?
Who would do such a thing, indeed? Yo, I got one more free-to-play thing to mention, though, if you don't mind. Maybe you should.
I don't mind. Well, I do mind your choice because I have a few choice words too, but go on.
I won't go on because this is Pokemon Picross. I think we both love Picross. I think that's what kind of stings about this the most, though, because like these are actually really cool puzzles. They really encapsulate the designs of Pokemon, right? But it is microtransactioned to hell and back. There's a stamina gauge, which is really weird in a Picross game, right? That's like kind of stamina. I think I like bought the stamina so I wouldn't have to deal with it. But like you have to like everything is gated behind this premium currency. Like you have to unlock stages with it, you have to unlock Mega Picross with it, and like you either pay up or do dailies, right? And it's like, oh man, weird.
It was weird because Jupiter made this. You know, they're like the home for Picross.
Yeah, that's what they do.
And there was this weird system where if you just paid a certain amount, you could just play the game the way it was supposed to be played.
Yeah.
And I think that amount was $40 anyway, which is weird.
It was 40, yeah, it's right. Yeah, it was I'm like, wait, this is a lot.
And then even weirder still, a year later when they brought back the My Nintendo prize pack things, they one of the early big tier prizes, which I think they still have on the shop until next March, rest in peace eShop, depending on when you're listening to this, was Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Picross.
That was so weird, man. It's still there. Yeah, you can still get, I don't remember, it's like maybe like 600 platinum coins, I forget, but like maybe 800.
I indulged in that. It was exactly what it said it was. It was Zelda themed Picross puzzles, and they just gave it to you for however many points. And
yeah, that's a freebie. It's a freaking freebie.
It was a whole ass Picross game for however many points. And here's Pokemon Picross saying, okay, you can fill in 10 blocks. Don't fuck up.
Yeah, it's like you can fill in the blocks. It's like I think I vaguely remember it was kind of cool being able to like. Have like a loadout of some of your favorite Pokemon, like I guess, and they had like little like skills you could do in the puzzles. I guess that was kind of cool, but dude, just like unlocking stuff was so restrictive. Like I couldn't do it, man. Like after a while, like it's like, oh, pay up these like pick rights or whatever it is. It's like you better pay up or to unlock like all these things, and I'm just like, yo, dog, I'm getting like piddly currency doing my dailies, man. It's like I can't do this no more.
Thank God we live in an age where Jupiter's just doing whatever the hell they feel like with Picross. Here's Picross. It costs $8. Sometimes it's on sale for $6, and there's however many puzzles in it.
Each one of those is super cool. Yeah, I like. I mean, I don't 100% all of them because there's way too many games. But yeah, dude, I mean, like that's a way better value than whatever this was, man. Yeah, $40. I forgot, dude. It's like crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I bought the stamina, and that's all I bought. So maybe I paid my $8 anyway. But. Yeah. I got one more on my shit list, and by one more, it might actually be a bunch. I don't actually know your stance on these, but this is the whole Pokemon Rumble sub-series. Which is apparently 5 games.
5 games too many.
5 games too many. So, my being the sucker I was, I think, I played the demo on like WiiWare or whatever. I think this may have been 2008, something along around there. So I was like, well, this is kind of an amusing beat 'em up, I guess, question mark. So being the sucker I was, I paid my 1,500 Wii points, like $15 or like whatever, right? Like a sucker. And like after I like was like playing it more, I kind of realized all it really is just there's not really level design. It's just like straight levels, and you mash the button and like stuff happens because you only have like I think like one attack or like whatever, and like it's a beat 'em up, but it ain't got the levels to make it interesting, right? And I guess they look cool. They're like toys or like whatever, but it's like the fact that they're toys doesn't save this freaking game, right? It's like after some point I'm just like, what did I do, man? Why did I buy this?
I bought I say bought. I downloaded the demo on WiiWare however long ago.
Yeah.
I did this shit with the Rattata. I'm like, you know what? No. I won't be doing this anymore.
You were smarter than I was.
I wasn't too smart after that because Pokemon Rumble U came out and they had those actual gacha toys.
Oh, yeah.
And GameStop had a deal where if you bought them, you can get a shiny Reshiram and Zekrom gacha thing.
Oh,
and I'm like, okay. I will indulge.
Oh, no. Was it the same game? I never played it.
I wouldn't know because it was kind of bad.
Yeah.
I got some cute proto amiibo out of it, but you know, it was
proto amiibo. That's true. Yeah, that's right.
Because you could scan them in and make them fight for you. But
oh god, I forgot about the proto amiibo. But yeah, dude. So like after the initial WiiWare rodeo, I was like out, right? So like Rumble Blast was on 3DS, didn't play that. U was on Wii U, didn't play that. Rumble World on 3DS, I feel like I downloaded it because it was free to play, and I'm like, this is like whatever, so I barely played it. And then they did like Rumble Rush on the phone, I like barely played that. I'm like, like whatever, right? So it's like, they did like 5 of these games, like why did they do like 5 of these? It's like crazy.
The nicest thing I can say about Pokemon Rumble Rush is that it was one of the games that gave you platinum coins for my Nintendo. And I briefly, I did a number of things to get extra coins for that.
Free platinum coins, the video game, and then it got taken off servers. And then it got delisted. Rest in peace, Rumble Rush. Thank you for the platinum coins. Oh god. Oh my god. I didn't even get that far. I think I deleted it shortly thereafter. Oh my god. Rumble.
I think we need to take a break. What do you say?
I agree. Let's take that break.
5.
See you guys soon with some more spin-offs. Oh baby. Some oddballs.
Okay, I think we got all that crap out of our system. You a bit more relaxed now, Vin?
I'm no longer rumbling in my seat. I think.
Okay, that's good. Because I think we owe it to the people at home to be a little bit educational and just talk about a few things that time hasn't been so kind to. Not because they're bad, but, just we left it behind.
Yeah, they're time capsule-y.
Very time capsule-y. Like, My Pokemon Ranch, the WiiWare app wherein you store your extra pocket monsters from the Diamond and Pearl games and talk with me about other Pokemon that you might have to trade for a few extra ones and maybe get a Mew if you stuff 1,000 of them in there.
Oh my god, we both did that shit. We hella just dumped whatever to get our free Mew.
All right, the Great Marsh is $500 Pokebucks a run, and if I just get this many B-Barrel and whatever else will go in the ball,
Oh
and
my
stuff
god!
them in the red.
Yeah, it's like, well, we didn't actually have 1,000 like quote unquote legit Pokemon, right? So it's like, I want the Mew. I don't give a crap. Like, what I have to do to do it?
I think that might have been the first, outside of a mall tour they did in the middle of Gen 3, that might have been the first legit way to get Mew in America in Western territories around that time.
I believe you're correct.
Outside of cheating.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah, and nowadays kids could just do a save unlock or whatever, and it'll like show up, right? I think it's in the remakes, right? The Diamond Pro remakes. I think if you have save data, it'll just a Mew will like show up, or I guess also like the Pokeball in like the Let's Go games as well. Right?
Still comes with Pokeball pluses.
Yeah. But back in our day, we had to stuff 1,000 ghetto-ass Pokemon into ranch to get it.
Just imagine hundreds and hundreds of little chibi B-Barrels running around a low-poly ranch.
It was super low-poly, it was polygonal AF, oh my god. But it still was surprisingly amusing for photo opportunities, but god.
That was photo mode before there was photo mode.
Yeah, right? Oh god. Yeah. The company that made this game was Umbrella. They also made Hey You Pikachu, Dash, and Rumble. So maybe it all kind of makes sense.
And Ranch was better than all the things you just mentioned. So
yeah, at least you got photos.
What does that say?
I think I had Dre's me, and he was like a rancher. I don't know if I saw the photo. If I can find the photos, I'll definitely at you. But it was pretty funny.
If you can find it, that's got to caption whatever the show post is.
Yeah, whatever 640 by 480. That might be generous though. They might have been lower resolution than that. But yeah, you can save photos to the SD card. I'll go digging. I'll go a digging. But the weird part is we never got the platinum update over here, so I couldn't do my Shaman, Sky Shaman shenanigans. That was weird.
That's right. There was a whole ass platinum update we never got.
Never got it, yeah. They had toys and everything, because like you could throw random toys and your Pokemon would interact with it. But yeah, I don't know why we never got it. Maybe because no one bought it. Well, I'm sure people bought it. Like suckers like us who wanted their damn Mew, they probably bought this game, but like.
You say bought it like it was a physical product that they had to ship out to stores. It was a file that they switched on and switched off. I feel like a digital file shouldn't have been that much of a
I don't know.
a cross to bear.
I have no idea what happened there.
I know games are expensive, but to make, I mean,
yeah, I wanted Sky Shaman in there. It's messed up. I want my low poly Shaman in there.
Just incredible,
right? We got more time capsule games. Are you ready?
Speaking of Generation 4, remember the Pokemon Rangers?
The Rangers, Ranger Shadows of Almia, Ranger Guardian Signs. Yes, we had to say the subtitles.
3 of these fucking games they made, and despite. So they're Power Rangers and they fight against the forces of evil. Oh my god, no, that would be awesome. No, they're Park Rangers and they draw circles around Pokemon and they become friends with them temporarily.
You gotta use the touch screen. That's the whole point of
it. They made 3 games of this.
I don't know why they made 3 of them.
I'm not a super expert on this, but there wasn't an eShop back then. But I definitely went into Toys R Us or GameStop for the DS. Remember when they had things you can download, demos you can download from the store with Download Play? You can go down the list, and then the menu would pop up. I definitely played at least one or two of these demos that way.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like, I'm not paying $30 for these.
Well, you know what sucker bought all 3 of these? This guy, I bought all 3 of them. And like, honestly, I didn't think they were bad games necessarily. Well, I mean, I cared enough to buy all of them, but at the same time, I can never like sell someone on these games, right? It's like
they're Pokemon Park Rangers that temporarily befriend Pokemon. But not only that, they were in the main games too as NPC trainers and and whatever. And they made there was a movie or 2 about them, which I could only assume means they were in the show.
Probably,
Well,
yeah, probably.
it was like they were trying to the marketing. This felt like a creation of the marketing department. Everyone loves the Pokemon Rangers.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone actually said that, but that would be amazing if that happened. Everyone
that
loves
was
the Rangers.
like this. There was almost this. They've been here the entire time. Energy, like back when Elf on a Shelf was first being marketed. No, it's been a time honored tradition. We've had this for years. This is literally the first time I'm seeing this at Barnes and Noble. Why is this here?
Yeah, I don't know why they did so many of these.
Why was there so many Pokemon Ranger? But they were. Were there a number of transfer bonuses to the real games
I
if you
often like
finished
to
them?
refer to Pokemon Ranger as Free Manaphy Egg, the video game. Which applied to all three. So if you beat them, you could transfer your Manaphy Egg over, and it's like, okay.
See, I almost did that once, but then there was a Toys R Us promotion a number of times where they would just give away a Manaphy egg, and I'd be the large college man child going, okay,
I want
with my DS.
I can't believe Manaphy's cool. I like Manaphy. Nowadays, I think it's a lot easier, but yeah.
Well, it was with the DS, it was even easier too. You didn't need to hand the cartridge to anyone. You just needed to load up Mystery Gift and then tell Wireless, "Give me the Manaphy egg," and then there it was.
Yeah.
Go pick it up.
Such a weird gimmick, man. Yes, that's how I got my Manaphy back in the day. Though I actually like transferred from Ranger. And like again, like it was perfectly okay. If you like to draw circles, it's like okay. But like, and there's a few set pieces that are kind of nice. I think the second game, Shadows of Almia, it's one of the very few times where like Wailord is actually like to scale, because Wailord takes up like the entire screen and goes off screen. So I mean, but the fact that that's like the biggest takeaway that I got from that game probably speaks to like the rest of it.
Yeah, you know what else had a Wailord to scale?
Huh? Which one?
New Pokemon Snap.
It did. Yes, it did. Get your jollies that way. You'll probably be better off.
Also, Pokemon Battle Revolution released around that same time.
Oh, did it? Oh man. Okay, I missed out on life.
But New Snap is more memorable. I feel.
Yeah.
With the Wailord.
You do not need to play a Ranger game to get your jollies. But and man, I don't even remember. Guardian Signs had like really weird, random like. I think Heart Gold Soul Silver fan service. It like had like weird like callbacks. I mean, which I don't remember any of now because that was a decade ago. But it was like okay, I guess, kind of, maybe, sort of.
Speaking of weird things that happened, let's just talk about some weird things that just happened in Pokemon spin-offs that really. They were fine, but I don't think we can really explore these again. Like, remember the Pokemon trading card game, the game
for
Game Boy Color?
The video game based off the card game based off the video game. I was worried about screwing that one up. I had the sort of in my head before I said it.
And to its credit, it was actually very snappy to play it. If once they teach you how to play the game at the beginning, and it only really covers the first 3 sets and however many promo cards and other cards they invented just for the game. But it snaps. It's very snappy to play. You can even play with other people that also built decks, but good luck finding them in the year 2000. But when everyone else was pretending to be over Pokemon for that brief period.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And we never got this. We didn't get the second one, which covered other sets either. So that was weird. I'm sure that one was much better.
One of the rare spin-offs that we did not get here. Yeah, but I remember this game was pretty cool. I never had it, but I mean, it was built well. I mean, I remember the UI was pretty readable. Like there was a lot of text and stuff, but I remember it was built pretty good.
Remember there was there were a bunch of cards that were definitely just made for the video game, because there was one where it randomly attacked, there was a Meowth that randomly attacked an opponent that might have been active or on the bench, and another one that did a random amount of damage and maybe gave you a status effect. Like there's these are definitely video game only cards.
He's kind of busted. The people nowadays be like, yo man, that's some RNG. That's what the kids would say, right?
RNG bullshit.
Man, RNG's just dealt me a bad hand. I got a status effect. That's messed up.
5 fire energy in one hand. I got a mulligan.
Yeah. I actually didn't know they had a game exclusive, or I'm sorry, video game exclusive cards. I actually did not know that. That's pretty interesting.
Well, I think some were actually printed into real cards here. I mean, in Japan and different. The Pokemon trading card game is weird. I played for a time, and it's expensive. Trading card games are expensive.
They're expensive. I actually buy boxes for Pokemon I like, but I don't really play the game. Yeah, it's definitely an expensive hobby for sure.
I tried moving into Yu-Gi-Oh when people moved away from Pokemon here, and it just got more pricey.
Yeah.
You know what, kids? You know what, guys? Duel Links is just fine. I don't need your. I don't need real cards. I have bills to pay.
Yeah. we have actual responsibilities now. That's crazy talk.
We're video game card games. What a concept.
Yeah. It was pretty novel for the time, that's for sure. Absolutely. But I guess nowadays it's kind of more ubiquitous, especially like it seems like every card game is like online enabled to like some degree.
And then there's entire RPGs that are just card game operated, right? It feels like.
Oh yeah, like didn't Yoko Taro made like the voice of cards, and I think there's like multiple voice of cards.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I still need to play that. But moving along, Pokemon Puzzle League. This was a very early project for Nintendo Software Technology. Mm-hmm. The branch of Nintendo where they just make Mario vs. Donkey Kong games and nothing else now.
Nowadays, yeah. They did a decent amount of stuff, though. I think they did, like, Wave Race Blue Storm and stuff like that.
They did that. They did 1080 Avalanche. Yep. Mm-hmm. I think they got a big leash put on them after they fucked up Project Hammer. I think that's what happened.
Oh, is that? Yeah, no. That makes sense, actually. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Okay, no more of this. Mario vs. Donkey Kong forever.
What a fate.
And they haven't, and there hasn't been one in almost. It's been 7 years. I feel like, or longer now.
Oh man,
last one was some kind of amiibo based one on Wii U and 3DS.
Those like tipping stars or whatever. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh lord.
Well, there's Tipping Stars, and then there was another free to play one, but you were unlocking levels with amiibo, so it was weird.
Oh god, why are games so complicated? This Pokemon Puzzle League came up before all of this.
Yes, but this was much easier, because you know what? All they did was make Tetris Attack or Panel de Pon, and they gave it a Pokemon anime, the anime specifically, makeover to it.
Yeah.
To the point where they compressed a number of anime cutscenes, one at the beginning and one at the end of the story campaign, onto an N64 cart, which really it's spliced together from other episodes, and but with weird dialogue changes like, Ash, you should join the Puzzle League over in Puzzle Town.
I forgot about that shit.
Yeah, I love a challenge.
And he's gonna...
What do? You flip blocks.
You flip blocks. You're gonna do some chains on some opponents and drop some giant blocks on them. That's what you're gonna do, Ash. Don't be silly.
Look, and I'm on record for this being my favorite puzzle game ever, but there's really not more to it other than it being that with the Pokemon skin on it. There's a weird 3D mode where you play in a cylinder instead of a rectangle.
It's so hard to play. Oh, that mode is crazy.
And honestly, the other weird thing to say about this is that this did not make it to Japan.
I guess presumably maybe the Frankenstein anime parts had something to do with it, perhaps?
The Game Boy, I think the Game Boy Color version Pokemon Puzzle Challenge did.
I believe so too, yeah, I think that's correct.
I don't know, I never liked it on original Game Boy, but this will be fun, and I think this is a very good candidate for Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online. But Steve, Panel de Pon's already on Super Nintendo Switch Online. Yeah, and there's 3 versions of Puyo Puyo across all these services. So let's. I think we can handle one more Panel de Pon.
One more Panel de Pon? That's crazy talk. Yeah, we can handle one more. This is a unique game. There's some pretty cool assets. It's visually very interesting as a sort of a time capsule, and it's super distinct from any other version. So I think it does deserve to come back. Whether it actually will, it's hard to say.
We're out of N64 games we know about coming to the service outside of Custom Robo 1 and 2 as of this recording. Yeah. And that's only coming to Japan. So
what? That's messed up.
America needs some. Well, unlike Andre, I'm not learning Japanese, and I barely learned how to read English. No, I'm just kidding. But I can't. I'm not going to be playing Custom Robo. I would think they would be hooking us up with something.
Oh, you can play Custom Robo. You just won't know what you're doing.
Hey, I played the GameCube one and I dug it a lot. I'm just saying, I don't think I'm going to be able to mash through those menus.
Yeah, it's
I couldn't get through them.
yeah.
I couldn't get through the menus on Super Dodgeball on Super Famicom until the Switch Online. So I don't think I stand a chance with custom.
Yeah, those
rumble.
menus were pretty dense. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Something a bit lighter for your phone. Magikarp Jump. You ever hear this?
Yeah, everyone was talking about it. Everyone talked about Magikarp Jump when it came out.
As of the other day when I was looking this up, you can still get this on app stores. You play as a nondescript trainer in a hat that are raising Magikarp to be the world's greatest jumpers in this jumping league. And you do that by... Right?
I was just the phrase "jumping league." I'm like, wait, what?
I think there's a grander name for it, but that's pretty much what you're doing. You're having a tackling against trees and doing other endurance exercises, and you're basically going through training montages to push it to the limit until you push it as far as you can through a league and then you breed it with another one and hatch that egg and try and do the same thing. And you conquer all these leagues and become Magikarp League champion. There's even an Elite Four at the end of the whole thing. The game ends, unlike other games that are fairly of the structure with stamina and waiting to recharge and whatever, where there's like this endless loop that they kept updating. Here, there's a beginning and an end, and it's goofy as hell. Like you can lose your Magikarp in training. Like if you jump too high on a trampoline or something, it could get ate by a Pidgeot, and that's it. You got to start over.
What?
And you got to start over with a new Magikarp.
What? That is crazy talk. Oh my god.
And if you accidentally break the Everstone, which mainline game players will know prevents Pokemon from evolving, it might get too strong and evolve into Gyarados, and Gyarados can't compete in the Super De-Duper Jumping League, so gotta start over.
That would be really, really broken if a Gyarados were allowed to compete.
It's just so goofy. And it was a lot of fun back then, and you're listening to me talking about this. Do you really believe this exists? Go look at it right now in the store. I think it's still there.
Yeah, it's there. I confirmed. I believe in reaching the top of the jumping league. But yeah, this game was like, this caught on fire. Like everyone loved it. I don't know if these have caught on fire. Some more puzzle spin-offs are Pokemon Cafe Mix and Pokemon Cafe Remix. In a manner of speaking, it's kind of sort of the spiritual successor to Pokemon Shuffle. Shuffle was... I'm not the biggest fan of that game, right? But I think this game does a lot of things that are interesting. The visuals are cool. It's got a really cutesy art style. There's some fun costumes. The one thing is that there's just too much stuff to take care of and juggle. Like, there's like monthly season passes now, and like there's team-based challenges, so like you can't unlock stuff unless you're in a team with other people. And like I remember getting kicked out of a team because I didn't log in for like a little bit or something like that, or I don't know what happened, but I got kicked out of a rando's team, and it's like that's messed up. That's like I just wanted to like unlock some doodads, and it's like I don't know. So there's a lot of factors to juggle, and like when it became like Cafe Remix, you can like do like fake gacha pulls and stuff, and there's just like a lot going on, and we all have a lot of distractions in our lives, right?
See, I think that's the thing. I remember the Cafe Mix coming out around the same time another game, Pokemon Island, came out. And I played that for about a day. I could not tell you what the fuck happened in Pokemon Island or Cafe Mix. I'm like, wait, why am I doing with all these free-to-play games? I'm sure they're okay-ish, but I have a big pile of other real video games to play.
You're speaking crazy talk, man. You have a backlog of Switch games you could be playing like Cafe Remix. You could be like taking your finger and swirling it on your phone or your Switch. I don't know why you'd play this on your Switch when you can play other things on your Switch, but...
I mean, listen, not just that. I see what's going on Pokemon Twitter sometimes. They're like, okay, there's a whole Victini event coming to the Poke Cafe. Time to swirl in some things for the Poke Custard or whatever's going on in there this week.
There's some delectable looking desserts in that game, though.
I've seen pictures.
Actually, visually, it's a really, really cool game. Actually experiencing it, oh my god. You have to jump through a lot of hoops to do it. Speaking of jumping through hoops, another oddball is Pokemon Masters and Pokemon Masters EX. They make you jump through all sorts of weird things to experience all the fan service, because there's a lot of items in this game.
I played Pokemon Masters for a brief period. I think, if memory serves, DNA made this because they also made a very similar Dragon Quest game, which plays very similarly to this without fan service.
Yeah.
So
I actually didn't know they made a Dragon Quest game, but that's kind of funny.
I mean, they're all competent games, but how many gotchas am I going to load up on my phone and play?
You gotta do all the gotcha. That's the shtick. And you know what else is the shtick is that when EX came out, which I guess was like the relaunch or like revamp or whatever you want to call it, the Twitter hashtag was Pokemon Masters EX, but it looked like Pokemon Masters Sex. So
it sure did.
So I was like, oh god, it was already like weird because like Dre and I have been joking that this is like the horniest game for like no good reason. Like I remember sequences where Brock's shirt just like gets ripped and like he's just like shirtless Brock, and I'm like, what is this? And the dialogue is like weirdly like weirdly suspect.
I remember some of the dialogue, but that's the thing. After a few weeks or whatever, okay, here's the currency and the premium currency and the premium currency.
So much of it.
And I'm just standing there going, wait, I already have Fire Emblem Heroes as my Nintendo horny game. I could just go back to that.
But you can get your favorite champions, your favorite gym leaders. You can pull the same gym leader like 5 times in this game.
And who doesn't want to see Bruno without a shirt? Oh, wait, Bruno was always never wearing a shirt. Never mind.
Oh, baby. Yeah, but it's just like, I wanted to like this game. It's just like, it's hard to get into just from how automated it is. It's like, it plays itself, and like, there's just so many coins, there's so many doodads, and it's like, I don't know. I want to experience the fan service, but you gotta work for it. There's just so much to do. It's like so much going on. And speaking of having a bit much, do you like MOBAs?
Not in particular, no.
I don't actually play too many MOBAs either. I dabble in them. Pokemon Unite. It's our oddball here. It's a weird game because it sticks super close to like MOBA like conventions, but it like kind of sort of simplifies it. But if you don't like MOBAs already, there's like, it's like really hard to get into this because it's like a MOBA through and through. If you've played like a League of Legends, if you play like a Dota or like play like a Heroes of the Storm, like a lot of this is gonna be very familiar to you. I didn't stick with it for very long, but I didn't log in for a while, so the game counted the number of days I hadn't logged in. So it said, oh, it's been like 258 days or something since you last logged in. I'm like, you're counting? Like, why are you counting?
I just remember back when they did the Pokemon Presents last...
Oh, God.
During that time.
Oh, Lord.
And they showed off things like Pokemon Snap, new Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, new Pokemon Snap, yeah.
And then they ended with, but we have another Pokemon Presents coming next week.
Yeah, and people...
So stick around. And we're all just sitting there going, okay, if Pokemon Snap's on this one, what the heck are they going to show in this one?
Is it going to be Let's Go Johto? What kind of remake are we getting? Yeah, everyone's super hype, right?
I mean, like, because, like, okay, like, you gave us all the hype games for this one. I think they even showed off Arceus in that.
I believe so
like,
too, yeah, I think so.
Like, or at least the teaser.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe it's more no, we're proud to work with our partners Tencent on Pokemon Unite. Here's a 20-minute video of people playing Pokemon Unite. I'm like, this could have been at the end of the other Presents.
Yeah, that's what everyone said. It could have been at the end of the other one. Why did it need its own Presents, like, video, right? And, like, it was so weird. It's like the people on the video playing the game, they were like trying to be all like pseudo MLG, like doing all this coordination stuff, right? They're like talking to each other, like trying to show like be all like pro and stuff. And I'm like, yo, like this is just like kind of weird. I don't know about this, dog. And it's like, it was one of the most disliked videos on YouTube at the time. I was just like, it was weird, man. And now there's no more dislike button, I guess. But it's just like, God, oh my God.
I guess people like it, but
you know,
and more power to you. But
I actually do think it's a decent game. It's just, you really gotta like play the game a lot to get stuff. They've been adding more and more characters that are pretty interesting picks. I think Espeon was pretty recent, and the game has some really cool costumes, right? Or they call it Hollowware. There's like really dapper costumes and stuff. Yeah, Hollowware. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I guess, you know, they can't actually wear it. They got to be like holographic wear. I guess question mark. But yeah, so like it actually is a cool game. It's just that if you want to unlock stuff, you got to put in some work, man. It's like And it's like, I can't really look at the genre for too long, or else I go crazy. After I unlocked Espeon like a few weeks ago, I'm like, I didn't really pick it up again.
Andrew landed on the exact reason, and I didn't even realize it myself. The reason why I'm not into MOBAs is because it pretty much ruined RTS.
Yep,
like
it supplanted it. Yep.
It supplanted it, and I think that's why I subconsciously I just can't stand them.
Yeah, I have all sorts of stories regarding people playing League of Legends in labs and like yelling across the room. So I got a little bit of trauma in me too. But this game is okay. It actually does adapt Pokemon decently enough. It's just. Oh, baby.
I'm sure it's fine, but I won't be playing.
Yeah. You should sucker Dre and Kevin into it. That would be...
I already got Kevin to play Arceus this year, one step at a time.
You can only sucker people into playing like games so many times. I mean, give it one more year, then you can sucker Kevin into playing Unite with you. You could be MLG.
Look, people still have trust issues. They still got trust issues with me after I recommended Valhalla, so I gotta remend the relationship for a while.
They didn't dislike Valhalla, though, didn't they? I thought that was aight. It ain't Hollow Knight. Oh, wait, we're doing too many Fine Time in-universe references. We gotta keep it moving.
Follow the wiki. Back on track.
And speaking of Hollow Knight, just kidding. But yeah, I had a few questions, which are, do you expect any of these games to come back in any form? Or, like, get sequels?
Andre will yell at me for my torch carrying here, because he likes to do that anytime I say, man, it'd be great if Obscurish game got a sequel, and then he gives me the disapproving
It's
look.
Okay, he's not here. Go for it.
But I know. No, I can hear him doing it from now. Pokemon Conquest 2. Koei Tecmo's been buddy-buddy with Nintendo for the past decade now, with all these Warrior spin-offs and things, and it started with Pokemon Conquest, and I feel like it's time for Pokemon Conquest 2. Maybe in Ancient Hisui or wherever it needs to be.
I feel like that is a great idea. There's a whole new generation of players on the Switch. After seeing like Fire Emblem like take off on Switch, you got like 3 houses and now 3 hopes on fire. I think it's a good time to do this stuff again, man. I think it's a good idea.
And I know Andre would just prefer they make Dynasty Warriors Pokemon, where you're playing as different warlords, swinging giant things around and bopping waves and waves of Bidoof and sending them flying.
That would be amazing! Oh my god, that would be the best game ever!
That would be funny, but I want Conquest too.
I think they should do that, yeah. To sort of answer my own question, I think it's safe to say Mystery Dungeon will come back in some form. Though the caveat is that there's like over 900 Pokemon now, so like in terms of how to juggle that would be pretty tough. I think, as we mentioned before, the best route is probably just remaking Time and Darkness.
Given how well the first remake did, I think it did pretty well. They had a very robust community when I was playing anyway, so someone's got to be playing these. That does sound like the route to go to especially after they sabotage the 3DS games.
Yeah, God, Gates to Infinity. Yeah, don't avoid that one.
Not saying remake those. I'm just saying before they try to reinvent the wheel on just bring the good ones forward.
Exactly, yeah. Well, my Shaman loving Arse is gonna be totally into like some Sky if they decide to go that route. But I think to further answer the question, it's really hard to expect much, just because like Nintendo, Game Freak, the Pokemon Company don't really re-release games that often, right? So like Trozei is not even on like Wii U Virtual Console, right? That's like messed up.
Okay, to be fair, there's not a lot on Virtual Console on Wii U DS.
But you know what's there though? Your favorite. All 3 Ranger games are there.
Yeah, how did they do that but not Conquest?
I know this their priorities are fucked up, right?
which released the same year as Wii U.
Look, man, you have 9 months to get the Ranger games.
As I say on the main show, make me. But
you have a big ass touchpad, gamepad that you can like draw circles on.
Then I'd have to replace the battery on my gamepad, but in all honesty, I think the spin-offs in particular have a better shot of coming out on the online services, just because Snap came out right away.
Snap came out pretty quick, yeah.
like they announced it was part of the announcements of Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online, and I think that's a harbinger of things to come, especially with the Game Boy Nintendo Switch Online app people think are coming.
Really, you're I was confident about that one, and then it didn't happen. But like, yeah, if you do that'd be cool.
I think it's still coming this year, but just not what I thought it was.
I think if you put Pokemon Pinball in there, that'd be dope, man. I'm all for that. Yeah.
I mean, I think we have a better shot of seeing the spin-offs than seeing Red, Blue, and Yellow on Game Boy Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh, yeah, good luck, yeah. They just don't re-release mainline stuff, man. It's so weird. I don't know. People would do it, but...
They put them out on 3DS for $10, and even reworked trading in there for trading in battles locally for $10. But they will not do. I don't think they'll do that again for such.
I don't think so either. Yeah, which is kind of a shame, but people would do it. I would imagine. But one more question I had was, do you have a dream spinoff?
Okay, so it's not a secret that I'm a Gen 5 fanboy person, and a point and click fan. So I want to point and click detective noir game set in Castilia and Mombasa City, where you're playing maybe not as Looker, that hit with the weird detective that pops up in some of the games.
He's in like several post games, I think. It's like, what are you doing here?
I want to play as like a different, as this disheveled agent with a Pokemon that's standing next to him that helps you out, and you go on mystery, and you have to solve mysteries throughout the those two twin cities. Yeah. But not necessarily so cut and dry. Like, pack that shit with atmosphere. Like, stop off for an ice cream cone or go on the Ferris wheel trying to find these clues. Like, I feel like there was a lot of heart and that can really be tapped into once we finally start getting back, and once they start thinking about remaking those.
Yeah, Black and White is really interesting. That generation's lore is like crazy, right? So like the world's set in like is loosely based off New York City, and like I just really love the world of Black and White. So to actually be able to revisit that in like a spin-off, that would be great. I'd be totally down for that. And like I'm like, I don't do the most adventure games, but yeah, like, I mean, that would be a cool concept for sure. Absolutely.
What do you have in mind?
My idea is a lot more basic. Might be a little too basic. I think I just want to see a rhythm game of some kind, because that's like a genre they haven't really done. There's like so many Pokemon games. There's so many songs they could use. So I think that's what I would like to see. I want to see some rhythm gaming, baby.
Now that you bring it up, it is weird that there was a typing tutor before there was a Pokemon rhythm game.
Typing tutor? Jesus Christ, I forgot. We didn't even get it here. But
nope. With the tiny-ass keyboard that my fingers are way too big to actually type on.
Oh my god, yeah. That was in Europe, though, I think, right?
Europe and Japan. Didn't make it here for whatever reason.
We didn't get those keyboards. That's weird. Maybe they didn't want to distribute the keyboards. I don't know. But yeah, just a rhythm game, man. Like, there's so many bangers in the series. All the champion songs are pretty baller. There's you got the chill songs between all the towns and stuff. I think that's what I like to see. And that genre hasn't really been done for the series thus far. I mean, it's done like practically everything else.
Hey, leave it to you to pick the game that'll actually happen, because I feel like all that'll take is a phone call to Bandai Namco, like, hey, can we just make a Tycoon game, and that's it.
You just get reskin Tycho to turn to a Pokemon game. That's genius. Because there's already like certain Tycho games already have like Pokemon like stuff in them, right? So it's like, oh baby, that's just like reskin it. And have like the Tycho drums as like guest characters. Wait, never mind. But yeah, dude, and there's got so many characters to like use too. Like, it would be perfect. Just reskin Tycho.
Well, we will accept download codes in exchange for this bazillion-dollar idea, you guys. just saying. We know you have. We know there's a few spies that listen to us.
Bandai Namco's listening to Fine Time as we speak. That'd be amazing. Cool beans. Well, that's a lot of spin-offs.
I'd say we covered a lot of ground for today. Want to wrap it up?
I would love to.
So, want to just remind everyone where we can find you?
Yeah, I am on the interwebs at Lucentai. I sometimes stream Pokemon stuff. I'll probably be streaming Scarlet. Or Violet, probably Violet.
You can find me and the rest of the guys on at Fine Time Podcast, and you can join us in the future for a very deep dive on Pokemon Sleep. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.